Good morning. You are officially tuned into Exalted Entertainment Radio, and this is Kiara D. I am live in the studio today with my special friends Leah and Randall, and this is the Love Factor. Today we are talking about attracting the one. How do you attract the one? So we're going to explore that question and more, but for right now, I just want to give a shout out to Humble Creation Studio. And we have the CEO of Humble Creation Studio in the building. Can you say what's up, Randall?
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? So glad to be a part today.
So I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. Let's get right to it. As I said before, we are talking about attracting the one. How do you attract the one? Well, oftentimes I hear people talking about, how did you know he was the one? Or how did you know that this was it? And so let's get right down to it and talk about that. For the most part, you got to understand who you are. You got to know who you are in order to know where you're going. And I just want to encourage everybody today to be able to get to learn yourself. If you don't know anybody else, you got to know yourself before you try to get into a real relationship, because that's going to really define how great your relationship is. If you're not familiar with yourself and your person or your mate has to tell you everything about you, then that's just going to cause more and more chaos. But as far as attracting the one, they talk about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction basically says that I can have whatever I say I have. So whatever you put your mind to is what you can have. Oftentimes I hear people talk about how they're broke. Well, honey, you're going to stay broke if you keep saying that. Or you might hear someone say, I'm never going to get married. Well, you just said it basically, so you're setting the tone for your life. But when you begin to really speak life over yourself, then that's when you can see those things manifest in your life. Not only that, as the cliche says, opposites attract. And so what do I mean by that? When you are attracted to the opposite, basically whatever area you are deficient in, they are strong in. And so they're going to be able to bring out the best in you just by their strengths. For example, when I first met my husband, I was just little Miss Ghetto Fabulous. And, he was really professional to the point where it kind of turned me off when I initially met him, because he was just so well spoken and articulate, and I'm like, this brother ain't got no swag. I can't get with that. And so he was just very, very well polished, and I didn't know how to receive that. But now that we've officially became one, he's helped me to polish my professionalism. And so, I just want to talk with my friends here, Leah and Randall, and get your take on how do you attract the one, or how did you all know that you were the one for each other? Because you have a wonderful relationship.
Well, I guess I'll start. This is Randall. When I met Leah, we were acquainted because of music. But when we had spoken over the phone, I was just kind of getting different vibes. I was just picking up some different things. I was like, you know what, I would like to meet this young lady. So once I saw her, I don't know what it was, I just automatically knew that I was going to make her my wife. And I don't know, you can say a love at first sight. I guess I believe in that, because I think that's what happened. But I could definitely say I saw her. I wasn't, of course she's beautiful, but I was drawn to more of her spirit. And the way she communicated with me, just with the love and passion. So I would have to say that.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Well, yes, I had called him because somebody at my church reached out to me and they wanted me to get a male singing group for a Men's Day service. So I called him. I didn't think anything of it, but he was just kind of texting me, and I'm not a texter. Everybody knows that. But when we finally seen each other, the day that we met, he said, "Wow, will you marry me?" And I just looked at him like, boy. So he actually said that. So I guess for him, it was love at first sight. For me, it was a little bit different. I had to grow into that. We were definitely friends first. So for me, it was a little bit different, but, he did know.
I love how you said you all were friends first. And I think that's very key to when meeting the one. You have to know how to be friends with each other before you can be lovers with each other. One thing about me and my husband is, we kicked it off as if we were the best of friends, as if we known each other for years. I mean, we was playing cards and going bowling and hanging out with a gang of people, but as I said, we started off as friends. And some people, they get right into relationships immediately and they wonder why their relationship isn't working. Well, you really haven't taken the time to get to develop a friendship or get to know that individual. Another thing I always tell people is, well, we've heard this cliche before, but birds of a feather flock together. So you got to watch the company you keep. If you're the type of female that was like me, I just put it that way. Back in the day, I kicked it with dudes all the time. Like, I'm Queen Bee, okay? And I was just like a clique type of girl, but they was only my homeboys, and so I thought this was cool. I was hardcore as I thought in my mind, and I'm just like, man, I'm that one, and I shook up with the boys. I mean, but I still know how to be a lady all at the same. But I did not realize that was keeping my husband from pursuing me initially. He saw me all the time hanging around guys, and even though I did have a few female friends, they really didn't give out the persona that they was ready for marriage. And so when I say birds of a feather flock together, you really got to be mindful of the company you keep, because that can either make or break your relationship. Not only that, but if you're not mindful of that, then you might be pushing Mr. or Mrs. Right away. Pushing them away, and they might have a hard time finding you because you're in disguise hiding in between the crowds. So I wanted to know, what's your take on all of that?
Well, you're absolutely right. I remember before I met Randall, I was really busy in the singles ministry at my church. And I mean, I had to get to that point. Of course, we as single women, you get to those points where you're like, okay, I'm good with being single. I don't need a man. And then sometimes you're like, oh man, I just wish I had a boyfriend. I just wish I had somebody to take me out, But then I had to find contentment with myself. At that point, I was, in the singles ministry. I was very, very serious on, just my relationship with God. So when my focus shifted, I think that was when I remember with me, I wasn't trying to be bothered. Honestly, I would wear a ring on my wedding ring, and I was so single.
I used to do that too, though.
Yes, I would wear a ring on my wedding ring, and I was just like, because right now, Lord, I need to let you know that I'm serious.
Yes,
I'm serious about my relationship with God, and it wasn't until I got really serious to when I just kind of walked into, my destiny with my husband, but. Wow. That's my story on that. Wow. I had to clean out. I had to delete some numbers, I mean, because you have to do that because it does keep you away from walking into who God has you to be.
I would agree. Before we got serious and became engaged, I had friends I still talk to and hung out with, but, in order to pursue a marriage relationship, like she said, you have to give up some people. You have to delete some numbers in order for it to go forth. Because if you're still holding on to the past, you're gonna always think about the past and the things that you used to do or the people you used to hang with. So I would recommend to anyone thinking about marriage, in order to be ready for marriage, you need to get rid of all those people that's hiding out and hanging out with in late in the night, in the midnight hour. So you need to get rid of those people and be ready. And of course, seek God first. And once you seek God, all the rest of the stuff will come forth for you. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful. I know our story is pretty similar to that too. When we first decided to make it official, it was like, okay, well, let's delete all the numbers of the opposite sex out our phone. I mean, because that's accountability. And, a lot of people really don't have that in the way that they really need to. And then you wonder why you got people falling all the time into temptation and all this other unnecessary stuff. you need some accountability. Absolutely. Let's just be real. And so I think it's definitely important for us to be mindful of our relationships with others. If it's not a business relationship, then what is it bringing to the table? You know, and so if you're going to have a friend of the opposite sex, you got to be very, very, very careful with that, because hey, it's not even all about the packaging. Sometimes Cupid just come right on in and set you up, you know, and you then next thing you looking up and you looking like, how did I get here? You know, and then it becomes perpetual, because people, once they get into that trap, it's like, oh, this feels so good, but I know it's so wrong, and they want to stay there though because it feels good. So one thing I always like to say is presentation is everything. What do I mean by that? Well, I oftentimes see females out in the grocery store, out at the Walmart or whatever, rocking the house shoes, pajama pants, right, rocking the headscarf, and then they like, how come I ain't found the one? Well, I think you just told yourself, boo. The reason why is because you keep attracting what you are. You wondering why you keep attracting the wrong type of guy. Well, that's the image that you're putting out. And as I said, as I like to say, ratchetness is not attractive. It's not attractive at all. And so I went to a conference this week, and it was a minister there by the name of Bishop R.C. Blakes. And one of his sayings are, what you wear is your personal commercial. So basically, you advertising. If you showing cleavage and you wondering why you attracting a whole bunch of male whoremongers, just put it like that, then it's probably because of what you're advertising. If you keep attracting the bums and no good brothers, it's probably because of what you're advertising and what you're putting out. And so if you're not putting that out, you're not going to get in. I mean, that's kind of like a law of science. What you put out is what you're going to get back. So I want y'all to just kind of expound on your take. Randall, I really want to hear from you, because you're a male. I know you probably see this all the time. And I mean, being a married male, I'm sure that doesn't change what you see. Just because you're married does not mean people stop being attractive. But we still see ratchetness. We still see people out here living ghetto fabulous. And I just want to know, what do you have to say to those individuals?
To those individuals, I would say for the females, definitely if you want to attract a good man, not saying because a man has money he's good, but I mean by a good man who will respect you, love you, cherish you. Men look at, like you said, their appearance. When you come out, go to the grocery store, it don't matter if you just need to leave 15, 20 minutes to the house. Comb your hair, put on some pants, put on some shoes. You know, brothers like to see that, you know what I'm saying? So, and same with the brothers, you know, you want to approach a nice, beautiful woman, a successful woman, do the same thing. Pull your pants up.
Hello.
Don't be sagging. If you wear a hat, wear it straight. You ain't got to wear it cocked to the right, to the left, and to the back. But just, you know, the same goes for males too. When you leave in the house, you come out looking decent as well. You know,
and
so
smelling decent. OMG, a woman loves when a man smells good. Okay,
so when she says that, don't just jump out the bed and throw on a bunch of cologne. We got to jump in the shower, brothers. I know it's hard, but we got to.
Please do. Or sit around all day just not taking a shower.
Don't look like you coming straight from the gym either. I mean, just smelling like who did it and what for. You can all get in on the conversation at 317-643-4711. Once again, that's 317-643-4711. Get in on the conversation as we're talking about attracting the one. Again, I got here in the studio with me is Leah and Randall Rosenthal, and they are the owners of Humble Creation Studios. They're a power couple. I love them, and you can just tell that they have passion about each other that you don't often see, especially in young couples these days, because everybody's ready to run. They ready to run out their relationship. They ready to give up. They ready to stop fighting and stop trying. But this couple right here, I can honestly say that they are serious about each other. And that's all we're trying to do right here on The Love Factor, is empower people to get to that place where you're happy and you are whole and you're loving your love life. And so, again, like I said, we're talking about attracting the one, and if you want to get in on the conversation, just call us at 317-643-4711. 47:11. Ladies, one thing that he said is, well,